So it's been heavily debated recently because of Chadwick Boseman and what's happened to him recently being a very tragic occurrence. It's been debated whether or not Chadwick Boseman should be replaced as the character Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, people in Hollywood die all the time. They literally have a compendium of names every time the Oscars roll around each year. It happens all the time. Usually, every year there's a big name of someone who goes, be it a musician or a director or a producer or an actor. It happens all the time, and I usually don't make videos on topics surrounding someone's death because, quite frankly, I don't really have any interest in these kinds of topics. And on top of that, it's not like I actually knew the person, personally on a personal level. I didn't know whoever it is, whoever the new name of the week is. This one I did find to be an interesting case because the Black Panther character means more than just, your typical fictional superhero. It was the first time that Black people, such as myself, got to see a character, this powerful fictional character presented in such a respectful way on the big screen. And that movie means a lot to Black people from all over the world, And on top of that, it's great cinema. I've seen dozens of arguments of people trying to say that Black Panther is just a typical average movie. There's nothing special about it. I don't understand why it was popular. It's like, I'm glad that those people are in the minority and that their voice has really been silenced, because Black Panther was an amazing film. Period. There's no argument or debate to be had about that. The question now, though, is that now that Chadwick Boseman is gone, Kevin Feige already confirmed when they revealed the slate of upcoming Marvel movies that they were already in the process of planning to go into production for a sequel to Black Panther, and that the movie was going to be released in 2022. Well, now that's not looking very likely to happen. There's a few different things that they can do. This is far from the first time where an actor has died during the production of a big blockbuster film, or even before the major production of a big blockbuster production. You have the case of Fast and Furious 7, directed by James Wan, in which Paul Walker died due to a tragic car accident, and the production on that was delayed over a year. Of course, for that particular case, fortunately, Paul Walker had already filmed some scenes for Furious 7, and then he had a brother, I believe, who stood in for him during some of the scenes that he wasn't able to film. And then they also went back and added a CGI Paul Walker and gave the character a good send-off by the end. And that's probably the best case I've seen of how to handle the death of an actor during a major production. Then there was also the case of, more recently, the case of Carrie Fisher, who died after Star Wars The Last Jedi, before they started filming Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. And that was handled terribly. What they did with that was Carrie Fisher had already filmed some extra scenes or whatever that was left over that weren't used for Star Wars The Force Awakens. And they took those scenes and tried to naturally insert them into the movie. And then they went back and added a CGI Princess Leia or General Leia after the production was wrapped up, post-production. And it really showed in the movie, and that was one of the many complaints about Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, and the fact that they gave the character a very lazy and just disrespectful send-off. Didn't make it any better. Now, the good news about this is that Chadwick Boseman as far as anyone knows, he didn't film any other extra scenes as Black Panther, the Black Panther character. So that means they can only do really one of two things. Either they can write him out of the series, which I don't see how they're going to be able to do that and have it really make sense, and also be respectful to both Boseman and the character of Black Panther as a whole. Or the more likely option is to simply replace him as the character. The thing is, you can't replace T'Challa. People are going to associate T'Challa with Boseman now that he's passed on. So the likely case is that either they're going to make, and some people have stated this online, either they're going to make Shuri, who is the younger sister of T'Challa in the series, and make her the new Black Panther, which I think is going to rub some fans the wrong way, because Black Panther is typically seen as a male character, and so I don't think that would work out very well. They could take one of the other actors that was in Black Panther and make them the new Black Panther, but it would just be a different character. Or what I would do and what I would suggest is simply make a new character, a completely new character, even if it's one that didn't appear in the original comic books, and have that person take over the mantle of Black Panther. Now, again, as far as the specifics of how they would do this and how it would fit into the MCU, that I don't know. That's something that the executives over there and Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios, that's something that they would have to work out. That's their job. I'm just giving my thoughts on what I believe they should do. And it really sucks, this whole situation with Chadwick Boseman. And people are asking what they should do with the Black Panther character, because I was saying before Avengers Endgame came out, and I know other people were saying the same thing, Avengers Endgame should have been the end of the MCU. The MCU is not a comic book series. The MCU is a film franchise. Film franchise, unless it's something like 007 where you can constantly reboot the character or whatever, is something that can't go on forever. You have to have a conclusion. Endgame would have been the perfect way to wrap up that series. They're taking a risk by continuing the franchise as a whole, and from what I've seen, there hasn't been a lot of interest generated with the fourth phase of the MCU, which now, thanks to COVID-19, has been put in disarray because that changes their whole scheduling and their original plan or whatever, which they already revealed to the press what their plan was for the fourth phase. In my opinion, the fourth phase is something that shouldn't even exist. The fourth phase of the MCU shouldn't be a thing. They should have wrapped it up with phase 3, and then you would have had like this complete collection of films that just feels satisfying. If you start from the beginning with Iron Man 1 and then you end with Endgame, it feels conclusive. But that's not what they're doing. That's not what they chose to do. They chose to make more movies and make more installments and introduce more characters. So I don't think that's a good decision in the long run. But regardless, what they more than likely should do, as I already stated, is recast Boseman as Black Panther, but don't recast T'Challa, the T'Challa character. This isn't a situation like what you had with Don Cheadle as a War Machine when he replaced Terrence Howard, who was in Iron Man 1 as Brody, as the Brody character. This isn't a situation where Boseman died, halfway during the production of a new film. They should simply find a good, respectful way to write T'Challa out of the series that one, makes sense, and two, creates a good send-off for T'Challa as a character, and then create a new character to appear as the new Black Panther. That's what I think they should do. Either way, regardless what they choose to do, they simply can't ignore this situation. It's something that has to be addressed, unfortunately. So how they decide to address the situation remains to be seen. And the last thing I want to say is that Chadwick Boseman was a great actor. He was a great performer well before his introduction into the MCU. And it's a tragic shame of seeing someone who had so much talent and brought so much good into the world go so early. But that's life. It is what it is. like I said, these things happen in Hollywood all the time. I do appreciate what Chadwick Boseman brought to the world of movies and film. And as far as his role goes in the MCU, that's something that will be remembered for a long time.